Hey everyone, this is Shar with Shar's Art from the Heart. I'm going to show you a Happy Easter project that I'm putting together from things that I just had laying around. I had this piece of 1/4 inch plywood that originally was a church. They were cut to be churches, but we're going to use it for something else today. I'm going to go ahead and use my Snow White Waverly chalk paint to cover it. And I want to get it completely covered on top. And the items that you will need for this is Waverly chalk paint. I always use the white when I'm going to decoupage. I'm also using some Bear wax that I get from Home Depot. And now I'm going to put a layer of thick Mod Podge on top of this dry paint. I'm just going to slather it all over the top. Make sure I get the edges really well. Get it completely covered. Now I have two shims, and I get these from Walmart or Home Depot, Lowe's, any hardware store or lumber store. And I'm going to use the same wax to cover these shims. I'm also using a baby wipe to help tone down the stain on here. These shims will become the roof to our little rabbit birdhouse. I had a few calamities while making this video, so y'all please give me a little grace, as there are times that I'm not completely in the picture. These shims were really rough textured and dry, so I went over them several times. All right, I'm going to make sure that this Mod Podge is completely dry on top of the little birdhouse here. I'm going to take my digital deco design paper, rice paper, and place it on top. And there was a little spot on the top that did not quite reach, so I'm kind of patching that together. You're not really going to be able to see that by the time I finish. I am taking my iron and slowly maneuvering it over the rice paper here, and this will make it adhere to the board with no wrinkles, no bubbles. It's the best way to get a flat surface. And there we go. Is that not the cutest little design? Now I'm taking my gator and I'm going to sand the sides. It's at this point that I discover there's a problem. I forgot to put the sandpaper on the gator. It always helps to have a little bit of sandpaper there so that the edges will come off clean. There we go. This little gator is so handy and makes it so quick on smaller spaces. There's my Type Bond, quick and thick. We're going to attach the shims to the top of the roof, and this is where I get a little out of the picture. I'm using some hot glue to reinforce it. And let's place the other side on for the roof. This took a few minutes holding it to make sure that it was adhered. So then I needed to make a little hole for my birdhouse, and I just used a paint bottle to make my circle. I'm using my black acrylic paint. And we're going to mimic a little birdhouse opening here. And of course you have to have a perch. I found this little bitty dowel rod and I cut it to size, and I'm just going to attach it with hot glue. Then I found some pieces of my woodgie bend. It's a thin trim that I thought would be really pretty on the sides of this little birdhouse. I'm antiquing it with the bear wax, and this actually does not have a color on the can, but it looks like a walnut. As you can see, I started out with the two sides and the bottom. And then as I was putting it together, I decided I needed to go under the roof also. Woodgie Bend can be ordered through the link on my page, and I will put it in the comments here. I sized it and cut the ends with a 45-degree angle. Now I'm just placing this Thick and Quick glue on it. I'm just using my finger to spread it out. I want to make sure that it's on the edges, but I try not to get it where you can see it on the outside, although it does dry clear. I'm using my heat gun just to flatten the woodgie bend out. I also made the 45-degree angles on the sides, and I'm just testing this out to make sure I've got each piece on the right side. I'm going to use my heat tool to flatten it out again. The nice thing about woodgie bend is that you can bend it, you can straighten it, you can flatten it, you can curve it. It does just about anything and everything you want it to do as a decor item for your furniture, for your projects, for anything you're decorating. It does take just a few minutes for it to stick, but once it's down for good. Now this is the type project that you could do most anything decorative that you would like. If I had had the right size little bird, I would have perched it on its perch right there. But the one I had was too overwhelming. More glue on the wood bend, and we'll put up right here under the eave of the roof. One thing I failed to show you while doing this craft was to Mod Podge over the rice paper. You want to make sure to get a good seal on it. And here is my little birdhouse with my cute little rabbit on it. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope that you will sprinkle and follow me. Thanks so much for being here. I love you all.